Welcome back to Scouting Movies, everybody. Let me ask you a question. Does this scare you? What about when her eyes close or and open? Anything like that? Like that? Does this scare you? Well, go watch Child's Play and tell me again if she scared you. That's the movie we're talking about today. Is Child's Play. It's the beginning of the Chucky franchise of homicidal, psychopathic killer dolls. Um, and you look at one of those dolls and you say, "Yeah, I can see that thing has murder in its heart." Uh, this was the movie where the world met Chucky, and suddenly that toy aisle got a whole lot scarier. So let's talk about it, review it, and move on from there. So let's start with a synopsis. What is Child's Play about? What is the original film about? Well, before Chucky was a wisecracking horror icon that we know today, before the sequels and the reboots and the surprisingly solid TV show, he was just a doll. A good guy doll, to be exact. But in Child's Play, that doll gets possessed by the soul of Charles Lee Ray, a serial killer who cheats death using a bit of voodoo magic. And the next morning, that cursed doll ends up in the hands of a 6-year-old boy named Andy. Different Andy from Toy Story, obviously. That would be a different kind of movie that we'd get from Pixar. Let's just say it's all downhill from there. What unfolds is a tight, surprisingly tense horror story about a mother trying to protect her son from his own birthday present. And for a film with such a goofy premise, killer doll, voodoo rituals, tiny shoes sprinting across linoleum floors, it takes itself just seriously enough to actually work. So that's the magic trick right there. Child's Play plays it straight. It's not a comedy movie. It's not supposed to be funny, even though at times it is just to watch. But director Tom Holland, not the Spider-Man guy. Obviously, I don't even think that Tom Holland was born when this movie was made, but the different Tom Holland. Screenwriter Don Mancini, they commit to the concept. There's no wink wink to the audience. There's no ironic detachment, just genuine tension. This movie believes in Chucky, believes in his horror appeal. And because it does, so do we. We get sucked into the horror of it all, the real genuine terror of a child's play doll trying to kill um, everyone in the movie. Um, the real MVP here is the practical effects, the visual effects. Chucky's movements, especially for the time that it was made, are still impressive today. It's obviously some kind of jerky animatronics and puppetry going on there, but you're never quite sure how they pull it off necessarily in this movie. That makes it a little bit more unsettling. Chucky isn't just a prop. He isn't something that's being moved from claymation type of animation here. He's a presence. When he runs with a knife, it's part terrifying, yeah, part hilarious, all kinds of effective. You're scared of this little doll because not just of the practical effects that are going on, but the way that they film this, the way that the camera brings us down to Andy's level, so that the stall looks a lot bigger than maybe he is. We feel Andy's terror. We feel Andy's mom, Karen, her terror at trying to protect her own son. Huge credit to Kevin Yeager and the effects team here. The way that Chucky snarls and squints and screams, and it gives him a life of his own. The lip sync isn't always perfect. There's some of the editing snafus there, but Brad Dourif as the voice of Chucky is perfect. He doesn't just voice Chucky; he becomes Chucky. It's feral, it's mean, it's oddly charming in a way that makes you hate yourself a little bit. Um, so I think the credit for how good Chucky is one, the special effects crew and the puppetry and the animatronics and all of those. And then a huge shout out to Brad Dourif for his voice performance as Chucky. Uh, it's something different, obviously, when you get the nice little "I'm a good guy" uh, voice to when you get Chucky's deep, raspy, uh, homicidal voice, where he throws in some swear words and things like that as well. The rest of the performances, Catherine Hicks plays Karen, Andy's mom. She's got the kind of horror movie role that could easily feel thankless because she spends a whole lot of time running around and screaming. But she gives it some real weight. You know that you believe her, you believe her terror. Uh, she's trying to protect her son from this horrible homicidal maniac that's possessed inside a toy. And you feel how uh, nonsensical the whole thing is to her, even, and what we as the audience are feeling. But it becomes real when he stabs her, or when he comes back and he's stabbing a knife through the door. You believe her. She's really good. She's a perfect horror movie female. Cliche, yes, but good still. Chris Sarandon plays the skeptical detective, the police detective. He's got that late '80s kind of vibe going on, where I'm not going to believe you until someone gets stabbed, kind of energy. It's cliche in that sense, but he's fine. There's nothing great about his performance. There's nothing horrible about it. He and part of that is how the character is written. Again, playing it as what it would really be. I mean, who's going to believe that a child's doll has come to life and is trying to kill you? That's stuff of really whacked out imagination. But when he sees it for himself, then he believes it, and that's what you'd expect from a police officer. But it still kind of has that energy vibe from I'm not going to believe it until I see it kind of thing. Then there's little Alex Vincent, who plays Andy. Look, he's trying. He's a kid actor. He's doing his best. Sometimes it works when he's being a kid. Uh, Sometimes it doesn't. Thankfully, the movie knows when to shift the focus off of him a little bit. Let the adults take over. Let Chucky take over. Uh, the child actors are difficult. Sometimes you get really good ones, but it's few and far between. Alex Vincent is not one of the good ones. But when he's playing a kid, and uh, when he's trying to be as kid-like as possible, uh, he's good. When he's trying to act, he's not. Uh, and so again, the movie knows when to let the professionals or the Chucky take over. There is a couple of stumbling parts of this movie. Where Child's Play kind of wobbles to its finale here is the whole Chucky will not die vibe. Like, we get it, okay? After three times where we think he's dead and he comes back, we start to think, okay, this is turning into Looney Tunes kind of thing. When did Chucky become Wile E. Coyote here, where he's burned to death and comes back as a burning crisp and still there, where he's shot, where he's stabbed, where it looks like he's thrown out of a window or whatever. He just keeps coming back. It's more Looney Tunes than it is horror movie. And there's certainly a sweet spot. Like, you don't want him to take one shot to the shoulder here and be down for the count. Like, that's not scary. He needs to come back. But at what point do you say, okay, this is getting ridiculous? And I'll tell you, it's probably three deaths too many. Uh, After the third, fourth, fifth fake out death scene, and we're talking Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote here. So the tension kind of fizzles into absurdity at that point. By the time his charred body is lunging one more time, you're half expecting him to pull out a tiny top hat and cane and start dancing around. Let's be real. Some of the writing here dips into genre autopilot as well. You've seen these scenes before. You've seen these characters before. You know that the cop's not going to believe her. You know the kid's going to be in danger. It's not bad. It's just too familiar, too cliche. So there are some stumbling points in here. It's a cliche horror movie with some obvious good twists. We've never seen a killer toy before. And in a lot of ways, it breathes some relief. It breathes some of this new, unique sense into an old formula, but you still have the old formula. Taken as a whole, Child's Play holds up surprisingly well. It's tight, it's creepy, it's weirdly grounded, at least until the final act goes full Looney Tunes. It lays the foundation for one of horror's most enduring icons without falling into parody. That's no small feat, obviously, given this. This isn't the campy Chucky who cracks jokes while wielding chainsaws. That would come later in sequels and TV shows. This is early Chucky. This is serious Chucky. It is scary Chucky. It really is. He's got jokes a couple of times, but they cut deeper here. Um, so, what grade am I going to give Child's Play? I'm giving it a solid B. It's a killer concept executed with just the right amount of seriousness, great effects, a villain voice performance that it turns plastic into panic. It's not perfect. It's still a slasher staple worth revisiting. So, have you seen Child's Play? Have you seen the original? And what do you think of toy dolls like this now after you've seen that? Is Chucky more camp than creep these days? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what you think about the whole Chucky franchise, especially if you've seen the very first one that got it all started that we talked about here today. So until next time, you know, be careful watching your child play with his or her dolls, just in case. Okay, thanks everyone.